All right, so we're going to talk about the Declaration of Independence. And you need to remember who wrote the Declaration of Independence. Several authors, but the main author was who? That's a C. The main author was Thomas Jefferson. And Jefferson pretty much stole from his friend, a guy by the name of George Mason, the part of the Declaration of, well, from the Virginia Bill of Rights. Now, the Virginia Bill of Rights, right, took from John Locke's idea of life, liberty, and property, but changed it to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All right. Let's see. I hope you. That's an I-U-I. That's right. Okay. So in John Locke's Second Treatise of Civil Government, he stated that the function of government was to protect individuals' life, liberty, and property. George Mason and then subsequently Jefferson took that and made it life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They wanted to expand really the function of government in that way to include the pursuit of happiness, which of course can be, I guess, interpreted in many different ways. Anyway, the Declaration of Independence, looked at, again, John Locke's idea of the social contract and said, well, the government, since they are not protecting the Americans' life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, it was their American sacred duty to rebel against the king because the king was not living up to his end of the social contract. On July 1st, 9 colonies voted for independence. Pennsylvania and South Carolina opposed it. New York and Delaware abstained. Now, since a unanimous vote was required for American independence, independence seemed doubtful. But on July 2nd, 1776, Congress resolved upon independence. South Carolina reversed its vote after Jefferson agreed to delete the passage from the Declaration which denounced the slave trade. And of course, that was kind of funny, being that Jefferson was a slave owner. A delegate arrived to change Delaware's vote. John Dickinson and Gouverneur Morris abstained to allow Pennsylvania to cast its vote for independence. The vote was then 12-0, with New York abstaining. New York always seemed like they abstained. John Adams, whose efforts on behalf of independence had helped secure it, wrote to his wife Abigail that July 2nd would always be celebrated with parades and things like that, although it turned out to be July 4th. July 2nd is our real Independence Day, the day Congress resolved on independence, but July 4th was the day that Congress approved the Declaration of Independence, which merely explained the decision of July 2nd to the rest of the world. But listen, you don't have to remember all that. It's no big deal. In any case, John Hancock, president of the Congress, signed his name on the document. Whoop, I'm signing his name wrong. I was going to try to sign it the way he did it, but it didn't work. Anyway, he signed it very largely like this, so that, and this is a quote, so Fat George can read it without his spectacles. This is where the old saying, putting your John Hancock on a piece of paper, comes from. Benjamin Franklin observed, quote, "We must all hang together, or we will assuredly all hang separately." And he was right. As late as 1802, George III handed down this sentence for Irish rebels, quote, "You are to be hanged by the neck, but not until dead. For while you are still living, your bodies are to be taken down, your bowels torn out and burned before your faces, your heads then cut off, and your bodies divided into 4 quarters, and your heads and quarters to be then at the king's disposal. And may the Almighty God have mercy on your souls." End quote. So the founders accepted great risk by signing the Declaration of Independence.